Coming up on Mountain News this morning, as many restaurants plan to reopen to in-person dining next week, a handful of places will look a little bit different. And we talked with people working in retail to learn about how your shopping experience is going to change when stores reopen. And as people stay home during this pandemic, many worry, are domestic violence cases still going up? The folks at the Rising Center in Hazard say they are.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 1 minute after 6 on this Friday, May the 15th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. We're making it through, and that's for sure, but this fog is going to keep things a little bit cloudy in your head, at least for a little bit, but at least the weather is warming up. Let's bring Brandon in this morning, and I told him he got things right on the head yesterday because it rained a little bit last night. Brandon?
Time of the year, you have to make sure that you mention a stray to scattered chance of rain every single day in the afternoon, because if you don't, you'll get burned. This morning, though, we're seeing a little bit of that fog, maybe over at Stonecrest Golf Course. It's just now getting light enough for us to see the picture there in Prestonsburg, so there may be some of the distance there. Kind of hard to tell at this point, but we're seeing some fog in Hazard. We'll show you that here in a few minutes. Temperatures all over the place this morning. It's 50 at my house here on my sensor in Letcher County, but it's 69 in Irvin this morning, 66 in Moorhead, 64 Jackson and Hazard, 60 Prestonsburg. Now you can see down in those sheltered valleys like Jonesville there, 52 there, 54 Harlan. But again, this is crazy. It's almost a 20-degree swing across the region when it comes to temperatures this morning. Today, 82, sun and clouds, scattered chances for showers and storms, mainly in the afternoon. Could see a couple stray chances later this morning, but I do think that holds off to the heat of the day for the most part. More sunshine today, scattered storms throughout the weekend, but that cold front coming into play Sunday night is going to bring us some more rain chances early next week. We'll talk all about that coming up in a few minutes. Will?
Alrighty, Brandon. Thank you, sir. Well, Governor Andy Beshear announced 199 new cases of COVID-19 last night and 2 new deaths. And so far, 7,225 Kentuckians have tested positive for the virus, while the death toll is now at 328. 2,712 people have recovered from the virus. More than 121,000 tests have been administered. Well, Governor Beshear has moved up the date for people to gather in small groups again. Groups with 10 people or fewer can be together starting May 22nd. That is up a few days from the governor's original plan. The governor's revised travel ban will expire on the same day. That's just in time for Memorial Day weekend. But even as people get together, the governor is still urging people to take precautions. Meanwhile, restaurants in Kentucky are going on nearly 2 months without having any dine-in customers due to COVID-19. But as restaurants prepare for the reopening date of May 22nd, some may have found a silver lining amid everything. Our Connor James has more.
Big Blue Smokehouse in Hazard has smoked meats and served meals and drinks here for almost 8 years. Now it's a much different story.
We were doing a really good business, and it's pretty well crippled our business, other than, what few takeouts we get a day.
That's one of the owners, Doug Campbell. He estimates their business finances have taken more than a 75% hit. But despite that, progress is still being made here.
Yes, sir. We've been cleaning, painting, redone all the floors, put a bunch of new tables and chairs in.
With all the downtime and only staff inside, they have been able to renovate. And what's new here goes beyond what you can see. It's also what you can drink.
We've put new shelving in. We've probably got 40 to 50 top shelf bourbons.
With inside capacity being restricted to 33%, this alleyway will soon house between 40 and 50 patio chairs.
We're going to set up a lot of tables across the sidewalk and on the other side over there.
Overall, the last 2 months have not been easy for the restaurant, and not just for financial reasons.
The people you make relationships with, you didn't know them before they started coming in, but they become regulars, and you get a good rapport with them. And we'll be looking forward to seeing all of our people.
But they say when the doors reopen, they will be excited to see some sit-down dining faces again. In Hazard, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, the restaurant plans on following all sanitation guidelines when they do reopen. Well, next Wednesday, May 20th, retail stores will be able to reopen under new strict guidelines. Like restaurants, they can only operate at 33% capacity. They're also encouraged to modify internal traffic and create a waiting system for people outside. Employees also need to maintain at least 6 feet of distance, but where distance is not possible, cash registers will likely have clear glass barriers and, of course, practice proper hygiene.
We have been bringing people back very slowly. We're just trying to make sure that people are safe. So we're training our associates on each step of keeping the public safe. Mask, hand washing, keeping people the right feet apart. As you can see what my mask says, 6 feet apart.
Each business has been instructed to post the new guidelines outside of their store. Well, we are getting a better look at 4 different plans the University of Kentucky is considering for its fall semester amid coronavirus concerns. As Garrett Weimer reports, 3 of them involve in-person classes for at least part of the year.
UK leaders are still looking at ideas to reinvent normal on UK's campus this fall. A team of researchers and experts is looking at health issues like screening, testing, and contact tracing. Meanwhile, the results of 3 other teams working on plans have been boiled down to 4 different scenarios.
The first scenario is a normal start. In-person classes begin August 24th, no fall break, and the semester ends at Thanksgiving. Finals could be in-person or online. Now, the second scenario is a delayed start. So in-person classes begin September 14th, no fall break. In-person classes end at Thanksgiving, and classes continue online into December, with finals also online. Now, the third scenario is a hybrid semester. Classes begin online August 24th, and in-person classes begin September 14th and run through Thanksgiving break. At that point, the semester could end, or it could continue online. Now, the fourth scenario is a fully online semester, starting in August, running to December. No changes to the academic calendar there.
All proposals that include in-person classes also recommend things like an alternating attendance policy when social distancing can't be achieved, encouraging outdoor classes, staggering and extending transition time between classes, and redesigning classrooms and other spaces to accommodate safety guidelines. UK leaders hope to unveil the final campus restart plan in June. At UK, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Now, UK is asking the campus community for feedback on each plan. The deadline for that is 5 p.m. tonight. Well, voters in Kentucky will soon be able to request an absentee ballot. The head of the Kentucky Board of Elections says the state will launch a website next Friday for registered voters. Voters can either return the completed ballot by mail or drop it off in person at their county clerk's office. At least one precinct will still be open in each county for in-person voting on June 23rd. Well, it has been more than 2 months since some Kentuckians received a paycheck or any new money. Last week, more than 69,000 additional unemployment claims were filed. But some who filed all the way back in mid-March say they have not yet received any money. Yesterday, WYMT's Phil Pendleton talked with one Corbin man who was laid off at CTA Acoustics. He says despite doing everything right, he feels he's doing it all wrong.
After losing his job March 15th, Diedrich Polk said he was finally able to get his claim approved on April 5th.
Said it's been approved, but no checks released. So it's doing the same thing every 2 weeks. It's saying that these weeks are going in. I'm getting credit for these weeks, but nothing.
Throughout the process, he says he's only spoken to a person once, and that person was no help because they said they were not qualified.
I don't understand why is there one person, Tier 1, who can answer a phone but can't give you any information. That seems like a wasted time. Just having somebody to pick up the phone and say, well, we have to pass you on to somebody else.
What we've learned through this process is you can't solve something just by throwing more people at them. You got to get good people and the right people. We've learned a little bit of that in answering the phones in unemployment.
The governor told us yesterday that they have completed 90% of the unemployment claims from late March into early April. However, we continue to get phone calls and emails and messages from people who say that they believe they are doing every single thing right and filling out their claims, but still not getting paid. And Polk says he's getting mixed signals on why he still has not received a payment.
But as of today, on my thing, everything is still the same. It says there's no issue with my identity, none of that. But there's still no check being released.
The governor said Thursday that red tape with federal government bureaucracy could be behind some of these current problems. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, officials say more than 742,000 Kentuckians have filed unemployment claims. Now, are domestic violence cases increasing? The folks at the Rising Center and Hazard say yes. The program director says calls have increased over the past 2 weeks. She says one reason why is that people have received resources from the stimulus checks to buy more drugs and alcohol, which could lead to a victim being targeted once the attacker becomes under the influence of those substances.
We have seen a significant increase, probably about 25% increase in calls. Either coming through our crisis line. Most of them are showing up at our door, and we've had about 3 or 4 at the hospital that reported to the hospital because of some kind of sexual violence.
The director also said domestic violence and sexual violence go hand in hand. The Rising Center has programs in place to help victims get the proper care, such as legal and medical help. You can call the 24-hour crisis hotline at 1-800-262-7491 if you need help.
6:12 on this Friday morning, and we're looking finally at seeing some of those sensors showing some of that fog, especially down along the I-75 corridor. London and Williamsburg seeing some of that. It's foggy outside the WMT studios. I just peeked out the window. No fog here in Letcher County this morning, at least at my house. It could be some in Whitesburg, but here at home, we're not seeing too much. The Whitesburg camera down again this morning. Been down for a couple of days. Hopefully we can get that back online here before too long. 64 Jackson, Hazard, 69 Irvin, 66 in Morehead, 70 out toward Louisville this morning. So it's about a 20-degree swing across the area. It's 50 right here at the house, but 59 just up the road in Wise. So a big temperature difference depending on where you are this morning. Emoji cast today. More sunshine, scattered chances for showers and storms deeper into the afternoon, the heat of the day. Warm day tomorrow as we see those scattered chances continue. A nice morning on Sunday, maybe even a nice afternoon, but those chances for scattered showers and storms will pick up out of that cold front that comes into play on Sunday night. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, it's almost 6:15. Thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. In that news, several nursing homes with reported COVID-19 cases had infection-related violations earlier this year. We will hear from the family of a patient who died.